The debate is almost here, which means that liberals like Jessica Tarlov cannot stop melting down. But as I'm reading these comments, and the viewership here is not happy with Jessica Tarlov, we're going to talk about everything that there is to talk about within this episode. Make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Fox News viewers are not happy, but we're going to go to why they're not happy, and then we'll go read some of these comments about Jessica Tarlov. But first, let's talk about Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. This debate will be happening tomorrow. We're going to be covering that. But before, Bernie Sanders said something, and the world is going mad because the game plan is already out there. So let's get right to it. As always, comment down where you guys are watching from, and let's do an intro here.
Bernie Sanders dropping a bombshell on Comrade Kamala right before the debate. The vice president is gearing up for her big showdown with former President Donald Trump tomorrow night, and she's turning to method acting to prepare. According to the New York Times, Harris has been holed up for 5 days in a Pittsburgh hotel doing highly choreographed debate practice sessions with an advisor who is dressed up like Donald Trump. Quote, "There's a stage and replica TV lighting and an advisor in full Lee Strasberg method acting mode, not just playing Donald J. Trump, but inhabiting him, wearing a boxy suit and a long tie." And while Harris will be super careful to pretend that she's a moderate at the debate, socialist Bernie Sanders just blew her cover.
Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
Harris giving this preview of how she plans to attack Trump.
He tends to fight for himself, not for the American people. And I think that's going to come out during the course of the debate. But I expect that he's going to, I think he's going to lie. And, he has a playbook that he has used in the past, be it, his attacks on President Obama or Hillary Clinton. So we should expect that some of that might come out.
Okay, Jesse, before.
All right, so you heard that. Make sure to smash the like button because this show is about to get really good. Really, really good. And here we go.
Know what her policies are, that really don't know what she stands for. And yet, when Bernie Sanders is asked if she's dropping her far left policies, he says, quote, in order to win the election, he says, quote, she's trying to be pragmatic and do what she thinks is right in order to win the election. How Machiavellian is she?
I'm sorry. Does anyone who is running for elected office want to lose or feel okay about losing? I'm sure that Bernie Sanders, sometimes in his darkest moments when he's sitting there with Jane, says, if I had moderated a little bit, I was doing pretty well.
So she'll sell her leftist agenda to win?
No. So, you mean like sell it out? She hasn't parroted any of these open border stuff, Medicare for all, defund the police, any of it since 2019. And I know that there's this debate about how much should she hew towards President Biden and what happened during the last 4 years or 3 years, 9 months. That is her record, for better or for worse. But that isn't a far left record. That's a record that Bernie Sanders became the most vocal advocate and defender of anyone. He was going to all the Sunday shows when it looked like Biden was going to be pushed out. He was like, Joe Biden needs to stay in. This man is accomplishing things that are good for America and that he had never even dreamed.
All right. Name me one. Somebody in the comments, please. Let there be a liberal in the comments. Name me one good thing that he was doing so good. Why did he have to drop out? If he was doing so great. No? Nobody? Nobody can name me one. No liberals here.
Record that Bernie Sanders became the most vocal advocate and defender of anyone. He was going to all the Sunday shows when it looked like Biden was going to be pushed out. He was like, Joe Biden needs to stay in. This man is accomplishing things that are good for America and that he had never even dreamed of having someone who was so good on climate action, for instance. So Bernie Sanders, it's not a gotcha moment in what he was saying. You said 28% don't know about where she stands. What I found to be one of the more interesting points of the New York Times Santa poll, and we're going to talk about it a lot more later in the show, is how much room she has to grow with 53% of young people, 43% of Latinos, 41% of Black voters who all say that they want to know more about her. Now, the issue has always been with Trump, has he hit his ceiling? It's clear from these numbers that Kamala, now she may lose the election, but she still does have room to grow. And so she's got to tell these people, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to govern for the next 8 years.
You know, Greg, the Harris campaign is already downplaying her performance before it even happens. What is that about?
Well, I think that's a good strategy because you can't lose if people, underestimate you. She'll always, she wasn't that bad. She wasn't that bad. Jesse made a good point. I wish she was flip-flopping because then that assumes an actual change. But you should, it's a flip-flop-flip, which is actually a lie because they always change. Bernie pointed it out. And I think, Jessica's right. It is a realistic thing, except that when it comes to Dems, they do it every time and they always revert back to what they were. If you look, you don't even have to take Bernie's word, take Joe's word, where he just admitted the Inflation Reduction Act was a climate swindle. So think about all those people that heard that, people who were concerned about the prices of food and energy for their family, to find out that the White House wasn't addressing that at all. It was a complete fabrication, a Trojan horse to cover up for their climate swindle. How can you trust them after that? How can you forgive them?
I like this guy a lot. This guy be cooking.
The other issue is, the Dems are losing men faster than J-Lo.
Oh, wow.
Issue is, the Dems are losing men faster than J-Lo. How does Harris address that in the debate? Is that even possible? Jesse mentioned all of these issues that have to do with safety and security, defunding the police, pro-BLM riots. She praised Jesse Smollett. Remember, compared that to a lynching. She's done nothing about the crime wave. She's released illegals who reoffend. I don't think she's done much in terms of cop killers, in terms of pushing the death penalty. Men care about this stuff. Maybe it's biological, but shouldn't women care as well?
Oh, he's looking at Jessica when he said that.
How come women don't care? I think they do, but they've been told to care about one thing, and that is abortion. But thankfully, the Supreme Court and Trump have decoupled abortion, right? It's not a national issue anymore. It's off the table. So women don't have to be the single issue voter anymore. They don't have to ignore crime, immigration, inflation, energy, education, all of these.
Yo, he's cooking. This guy's cooking.
Don't have to be the single issue voter anymore. They don't have to ignore crime, immigration, inflation, energy, education, all of these huge issues, what we would call the rest of the world. You don't have to just vote based on what Planned Parenthood demands of you. He's already said he's against the national ban. So the right to choose is now a state issue, which is closer to the voter. I bring this up because this is going to come up tomorrow, and Trump just needs to say, this is not part of my decision making. It's now back to you. So a vote for or against Trump from a woman has no impact on the issue of abortion. Has no impact. The Dems don't want you to know that. They're
Woo-hoo-hoo! Damn. Hey, man.
For or against Trump.
He's out here. He's
from a woman has no impact on the issue of abortion. Has no impact. The Dems don't want you to know that. They're very reductive. If you're a woman, it has to be about abortion. How insulting is that? How stereotypical is that you can't think about inflation, that you can't think about foreign policy? Ooh, that's not important. It's my right to choose. Not on the table.
Well, why did Trump flip-flop on it then?
Dana.
Oh, Jessica's digging here.
Inflation, that you can't think about foreign policy. Ooh, that's not important. It's my right to choose. Not on the table.
Well, why did Trump flip-flop on it then?
Dana.
He never did.
He did last week on how he's going to vote on Florida.
I just told you.
He said he knows that a 6-week abortion ban is draconian. And then when I guess he heard from his big donors, he said, you know what? I'm just going to let it go.
That doesn't. You just heard my ad. This is a state thing. It's closer to the voters. He does. I mean, you could bring that up, but that's like playing in the weeds. What I'm talking about right now is the issue is decoupled from the election.
Right.
Wow. Jessica tried it. She tried it there. Hey, guys. She tried it. She tried it.
It's closer to the voters. He does. I mean, you could bring that up, but that's like playing in the weeds. What I'm talking about right now is the issue is decoupled from the election.
Right. It's not an issue in terms of what has happened. It's like.
Well, let's look at some of these comments here. Let's look at some of these comments here. Let's go to the top comments. Ooh. Fire Jessica already. Mark Sanders says the show is unwatchable when she starts to talk. So we got some people mad. The Jessica act is so played out. You can't spin this crap anymore. What is Jessica smoking for her to think Kamala is doing great? She's annoying. Damn. So you got a whole bunch of people. Look, watching Jessica is like watching a horrible car wreck. You know it's going to be awful, but you keep watching. Another person says, Jessica is exhausting because she can never be honest at any point, always pivots with cope. I mean, it'd be one thing if she just admitted that she's voting against Trump and not for Kamala. At least that's honest. But listening to her repeatedly trying to praise Kamala as some great politician when she knows deep down that isn't true is nauseating. So you got a whole bunch of people. Jessica needs to go. She's lying as usual. Jessica is such a waste of air. I just fast forward when Jessica starts lying. She's as bad as Karine Jean-Pierre. So, damn, people are not happy with Jessica. She might be worse here than people who conservatives are on CNN. I think conservatives are a lot better on CNN than Jessica is on Fox. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. Jessica is getting cooked here in these comments, ladies and gentlemen. She's getting cooked. Well, the debate is tomorrow. Gutfeld is cooking. Gutfeld said something very important here about the rights going back to the states, and something that a lot of liberals really clamp on is the whole abortion thing. So what he's saying is, hey, the power already went back to the states. It's not a federal issue no more. It's a state issue now. So that's just what it is. So what do you guys think is going to happen tomorrow? Yeah, I think Gutfeld is doing great. I really do. I really think Gutfeld is killing it. I don't know why. I really like him. Maybe I will do his show one day. Maybe he'll invite me on the show one day. Maybe we'll do a show. I mute Jessica every time. Yeah, it's really bad. It's getting really bad over there with Jessica. Specifically going down to the defund Planned Parenthood. I agree. Jessica is the Adam of Patrick Bet David. Wow, that is such a good comparison. I really like that. Yeah, the Adam is horrible. Adam is horrible. Check your voter registrations. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to smash the like button, spread the word on this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.